हेलो गाइस, आई जस्ट थॉट कि एक वीडियो शूट कर लेते हैं एंड दिस वुड बी अ प्रॉपर लॉन्ग वीडियो. लाइक मुझे पता है कि पहले मैंने एक वीडियो डाला था बट दैट वाज नॉट सपोज टू बी अ लॉन्ग वीडियो, दैट वाज सपोज टू बी अ शॉर्ट, लेकिन मैं उसको 1 मिनट में कंपाइल नहीं कर पाई थी. सो दिस इज गोना बी अ प्रॉपर माई फर्स्ट लॉन्ग वीडियो. सो एंड दिस इज माई रियल हेयर. पर मैं इसको जुड़ा करूँगी क्योंकि अभी बहुत गर्मी है इधर. और तुम्हें थंबनेल से पता चल गया होगा कि इन दिस वीडियो विल गोना टॉक अबाउट most of the books that I read and I loved it, and what are my thoughts and views on these books. So yes, meet you soon. I have all the books that I want to talk about, but let's do it by sitting. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanyaisha, and today I'll be talking about book series that I read and I loved it, or what are my thoughts on those books. So if you're willing to get yourself into series, so this might be helpful for you. Please watch till. Just to give you a preview, I have this much book to talk about, and I hope that you'll find something better for yourself. So let's start it. So starting with the first book, The Cruel Prince. So in this book, we'll see that Jude, who is the main protagonist, Jude and her sister one day found that their parents are murdered and they are abducted into a fairy court. Now, fairy are the immortal beings. They are these mystical creatures who are immortal and they cannot lie, and they're somehow related with magic. So Jude found herself in the fairy court, and she being a mortal in between immortals, she has to fight her way to live in their world, and we'll see how. And this is a book where we'll see how much she hates that she doesn't have power, and what are all the things she did to get herself in a place where she hold power, so much power that no one can bully her, and no one can belittle her. Also, we'll get to see the most cruel prince of that court, that is Carden. And oh my god, like honestly, I'll tell you, the first time I read Carden, I hated him. I absolutely abhor him in this book, which like honestly, I guess everyone who has read it felt the same. And like, you just hate Carden because he bullies Jude in every way possible. He belittles her. He's just so worse in this book. But after this book, we'll get yourself in Queen of Nothing, that is the second book. And oh my god, this is my favorite book of all time. Like 5 on 5. This book deserves all the love. Okay, now in this book we'll see that somehow Carden and Jude are have formed ally. Like, they're kind of frenemies and they're helping each other out in, like, something happened in this book. In the end, something happens which get Jude and Carden to work together in this book to save the throne in some kind of ways. And but we'll see that, like, the one thing is that Jude is so smart. Like, Jude is clearly not one of those protagonists. Like, often there are protagonists in other books who are so, let's not talk about them. So Jude is one of the smartest protagonists you'll ever see, one of the strong female lead, and she has, like, her plans are so instantaneous but is so effective. And this has all the little bits of romance that you'll see. So in this book, Jude and Carden marries each other at the last, and they try to save their throne for her brother, because her brother is originally the right Uttaradhikari of that throne. So this book is about that. And oh my gosh! Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm throne. And so that's how we get into the second book. This is absolutely my favorite book of all the three books. And in this book, we'll see the cute chemistry of Jude and Carden, while the politics, like the court politics, so much heavy in this book. One thing that Carden wanted was to do nothing with the power, with the court and everything, but Jude tricked him into being the king, and so he abhors her and he hates her, while still there is underlying feeling for her. And that's all we get to see in this book. And in the last book, we'll see that Carden is, like, there was a price to pay. When Carden was born, there was this one prophecy happens that says that Carden has a curse. And we'll see what the curse is in this book and how the love of Jude breaks that curse. And this is it, guys. This is the book. This was spoiler free, and I say that please read it. There is this letter in this third book that I didn't get in this one. You know what? जब मैंने इसको पढ़ा था ना, when I read the first book, I didn't like it was not that I loved it very much, that I was eager to watch these two. No, it was not. But then I was scrolling through my phone and I get to see there's so many letters, and these letters were so beautiful. Those letters were so heartwarming that made me want to read these next two books. And I have never, I've never felt so grateful for scrolling as much I felt that way. It was absolutely worth the money, worth the time. And please read it. It is 4.75 out of 5 stars. And Carden, I'll always like, he will always have this special place in my heart. Jude and Carden, like I still read some of their memes I get online. So yes, please read it. Moving on to the second book, I have Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing is a fantasy book with again romance as its subplot. It is young adult book, and the author says that this is the perfect book for beginners, and I absolutely agree with her. Like this, but look, one thing, if you have read a lot of fantasy book, if you have read a lot of romantasy book, this might not be one of the best book for you. But for beginners, this is the perfect book. You'll get to see what really happens in fantasy world, what it is all about, what the fuss is all about. So the for me it was okay, but the dragon element that in this, the dragon element is everything. I have read the complete book because of the dragons. The conversation with the dragons was so funny. So talking about what this book is, supposed to be a duology, but now it is basically extended into 5 books. This series is going to consist of 5 books. Okay, so in Fourth Wing, we follow Violet Sorrentiel, who is basically getting herself into a war college. Now, she wanted to be a scribe, but her mother wants to be her a writer. Not the writer kind of writer, but the writer kind of like her, like she like the writer means the person who writes dragon, basically dragon. We are talking about dragon here, guys. So you'll get to see that when she get herself into the college, she get to know that everyone hated her mother. So basically she have to make her way into that college. But most importantly, the one person that hated her most was our main protagonist, that is Zayden Riosen. What's that name? I don't know why someone named a character like this, like Zayden Riosen, like Zayden with an S in it. Like, why? I basically wanted to ask the author why the name Zayden. Like, I'm not a fan of such names, honestly. Okay, we get to see that Zayden hated her, and she has this thing that she'll prove him wrong. So this majorly have enemies to lover vibes. So slow burn, we have this is young adult and fantasy with romance as its subplot. We have a lot of, not a lot, basically we have spicy scenes. The one thing that I see in this book, that absolutely nothing happens till 200 pages, and then again suddenly everything start happening, and which is basically one of the drawback I think this book have. Like, you're getting nothing, absolutely nothing. The story is slow paced at the first 200 pages, and then everything started happening in the last 100 pages. The most interesting thing about this book is the dragon part. Now the dragon are supposed to be, they are dragon but with magical element in it. Like, they are supposed to choose their writer by themselves. Like, they have to have this sort of connection. Like, remember in Harry Potter where they have to choose their magical wand, but that wand will choose you. Like, the wand will choose its master. So this is like the same concept in it. So the dragon part is really interesting. The communication between dragon and the writer is really interesting. One thing that I didn't like actually is the Violet's monologue with herself. Like, it's kind of immature. So besides that, I think this book is really good. You should read it. For me, it is 3.5 stars out of 5, and I still have not read the second book, like the Iron Flame. I just received it 1 month ago, but at that time I was having my first terminal, so I have not read it. So yes, this is all about this book. So read it and enjoy it. Okay, moving on to the third book. Yes, guys, I have a romance recommendation for you all, and this is Twisted series. I just bought the first book, and probably this is the first book that I bought the hard copy version. I used to read online, but one day I was in Vanaras due to some reasons. I bought this Twisted Love, and If You Had Been With Me. These two are my first ever hard copy version, and I read it, and I realized that I I will not buy the further books. Okay, so talking about this is, this Twisted series consists, this is a romance. First thing, this is a romance, and it is highly 18 plus. Minors, do not read it. Okay, minors, please don't read it. This is a book of 4 friends, and each friend has their own book. Like the 4 book: Twisted Love, Twisted Game, Twisted Hate, and Twisted Lies. Twisted Love follows Eva and Alex. Now Alex Volkov is the devil is blessed with the force of an angel and goes to the past he can't escape. Driven by a tragedy that has haunted him for most of his life, his ruthless pursuit for success and brilliance lead the road for matter of heart. But when he forced to look after his best friend's sister, he started to feel something in his chest, a crack, a melt, a fire that could end the world as he knew it. Okay, so Alex Volkov. Okay, this book is, like the grumpy and sunshine version. It's a slow burn, and basically what happens that Alex has his friend Josh, and one day Josh asked Alex to look for his younger sister, that is Eva Chen. Eva is the sunshine girl who is always happiest and is happy in her life until and unless he met Alex. So they have some sort of, both have some sort of dark past from which they are running, and their path crossed in a certain way, and that what is this book is about, guys. They fall in love, they how they conquered that past, how they heal themselves, how they help each other. This book is always about. I would give this book 3 out of 5 stars, but my favorite book in all the Twisted series is, like, all these books are standalone in their own way. In the series also they are standalone. You'll get to see their cameo in other books, but for me, my favorite book in all these 4 would be Twisted Game. It is absolutely good, and the story is also good, the plot is also good. Twisted Game is about Bridget and his bodyguard. This is that book is forbidden romance, and I must talk about that book in some other videos. I'll definitely make a video on that, but till then, this is all about this book. Okay, moving on to the recommend is A Letter of Enchantment series. This series consists of 2 books, Divine Rivals. यार देखो इसका cover फट गया था, so मैंने इसको cover करवा लिया है. This is the actual cover, just so pretty. Look at this. It's so pretty. So the Divine Rivals, and the second book in this is Ruthless Wars, both by Rebecca Ross, and I am a fan of her. I am absolutely fan of this author. Whatever she write things, and it has such magical element in it. Her writing is so simple yet so effective and heart touching, and absolutely her stories are so beautiful and so well written. Absolutely love it. Absolutely loved it. Now in Divine Rivals, we get to see that a fight has broken between 2 gods. One is Enva and one is Dacre. Both were husband and wives, but Dacre has false intention towards Enva. He wanted to capture her, so Enva tricked him into sleeping for years, and she escaped. Now after so many years, Dacre has finally woken up and will survive back, but Enva do not want to go with him, so she wanted an army to fight with Dacre's army. So she's recruiting every possible man on the streets and everywhere. She's doing that. So the protagonist brother, that is Forrest, is leaving his home basically to go to join Enva's army to fight against Dacre. So this is basically how the story started. Moving on, we have Iris Vino and Roman Kirt. Both are the newspaper reporter of the same company, and both are fighting for the same upper post. Now both are rivals, and book talking about all the tropes in this book that have it has rivals to lovers. It has magical typewriters, it has magical rims, magical wardrobes in it from where you keep letters and it magically disappear and appear someone else. So Iris after her brother left her, she started writing letters, and she started keeping the letters in the wardrobe. Like, this is a wardrobe, so she started keeping the letters there, and it magically disappear and appears at Roman's wardrobe. And they Iris didn't know that she's talking to Roman, but Roman basically identifies her writing style, and he knows that the letter that I'm getting is from Iris. Basically they continue exchanging letters for a long time, and that's how they fall in love. Despite being enemies in real life, they fall in love just by exchanging letters, and those letters were absolutely loved. Those letters were the most amazing letters I've ever read, and I fell in love with the writing style, guys. I loved it to the core. And so this is what this book is about. We get to see that finally Iris and Roman are posted at the war, where the war is actually happening, and in the ending of the first book will have you at cliffhanger, because Dacre's army captures Roman. That's how the first book ended, and it just breaks your heart. I've read it after giving my NEET examination. After clearing NEET, I read it, and till then the second book was not published. It's published in February or January, I guess, and I have to wait so much. I have to wait every month. I was thinking, oh my god, what will happen? So the second book come, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely justified. The ending, it beautifully concluded how this book should have concluded, and I loved it. I'll give this 4.75 after 5 stars, and I loved it, guys, and you'll definitely enjoy it. Go for it. This is absolute favorite. Now the last book today that I want to talk about, Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. This series consists of 3 books: Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad of Never After, and the third is A Curse for True Love. In this book, we'll follow Evangeline, a girl who is who has always believed in happy endings. She believed that every story has infinite possible ending, and her ending will always be the most beautiful ending ever. So, but a tragic happens. The love of her life marries her sister, and she was so grief-stricken that she ran into a temple to deal to have a deal and to ask help from the fate that is also who is also known as Prince of Heart, Prince Jax. Like he was ready to help her out, but he strikes a deal with him. In exchange of his help, he asks for 3 kisses in his place and time of choosing. Being innocent, she thinks that what bad will happen. Being desperate, she agrees with that deal. That's all, guys. That's all I wanted to tell you about this book. Go blindly in this book. It will blow your mind, the amount of twist and turn that this book will have. You'll always be at edge. It's such a page turner. It's fast paced page turner, magical touch in it, and it's so beautiful. And above everything, Jack is that devilish handsome character that will yearn for him. And this book will blow your mind, will definitely make a special place in your heart. That's all. I give this book 4.75 out of 5 stars. I absolutely love it, and I hope you do the same. That's it, guys. That's it for today's. This was all the series that I have to recommend to you. So all these books are beginner friendly, are very easy written, fast paced, and most of them are fantasy romance. And I hope you love it. I hope you enjoy it. Keep reading, keep enjoying, and follow for more. Subscribe, please. Bye.